why we are basically holding the inventory in the supply chain. Okay, so the reason one we are holding the supply chain is due to the bullwhip effect. So this bullwhip effect is basically occurring due to the uncertainty. Okay, so the uncertainty may be from the customer end, which means demand end, or maybe from the supplier and the supplier perspective, maybe the lead time. Okay, maybe you have the frequently schedule changes. Okay, so these due to these uncertainties, there is a bullwhip effect. That's why we are basically holding the inventory, and that kind of inventory which is basically dealing those uncertainties. Okay, that is called as a safety stock. Okay, so the second reason we are holding the inventory is basically due to the discount for the purchase. Okay, so like we said that we are going to purchase 100 unit of a particular product, but our supplier said that if you are going to buy 200 unit, so instead of giving you per unit 10 rupees, I am going to give you 9 rupees per unit. So due to the discounted price of the particular product, we are going to buy the product in bulks. That's why we need to hold the inventory in the supply chain. And the third reason we are holding the inventory in the supply chain is due to the seasonal or the anticipation demand. Okay, or the anticipation inventory. So the reason is that is basically if we do not have the enough capacity to meet the summer of the air conditioner product, so that means we are going to produce the product in start producing in winter, and in order to meet the demand in the summer. So that is basically to meet the seasonal demand. Okay, so that's why that kind of inventory is called as the seasonal inventory. Okay, the last one we are talking about, that is known as the pipeline inventory. So the pipeline inventory is always between the multi-echelon distribution system. So multi-echelon distribution system means, okay, when we have different bodies, like we have the supplier, we have the distributor, okay, and we have the customer. So between every particular echelon, in between we have the inventory. So in a single echelon, so everybody is basically managing its inventory by itself. Okay, so nobody cares about in between that. Okay, so but in a multi-echelon, everyone is considering them as a single, okay, pool in order to manage the inventory or in order to manage the lead time. So that's why in a single echelon perspective, when everybody is managing its own inventory, okay, that is basically in a traditional supply chain, and everybody is planning about its inventory, about its lead time separately. Whereas in a multi-echelon, we are basically creating the pool of the inventory. Okay, so that's why we should be consider the service level to the customer, as well as the able to minimize the lead time as combination of all the locations, all the echelons. Okay, so that would be the combined effort. So that's what is called as the multi-echelon. So remember that whether you are handling this pipeline inventory, either the single echelon supply chain network perspective or the multi-echelon, whenever there is an inventory between the two, you can say bodies, okay, or the two echelons, then it would be called as the pipeline inventory. So that's why, so these are the reasons, or you can say that's why we are basically holding the inventory in a supply chain. So remember that the ultimate goal of any supply chain is try to reduce as much inventory as possible. However, we would be able to reduce the lead time, and we would be able to provide as much service level to the customer as possible.